Did you get a call from the attorney?
Yeah, he called me. She's not going to do it. She's not going to do it unless we force her feet to the fire. Not going to happen.
Joe Espino and Robert Kenny, two veteran LA Sheriff's Homicide bulldogs.
So did you hear about the polygraph? She's saying she wants to reschedule.
Who can sniff out a killer's trail like nobody's business. Sometimes the bad guy can knock even the best cops off the track, but in this case, not for long. At 29, Linnell Barsock was, as they say, upwardly mobile.
Very successful. Here's a young girl, she's 29 years old, very attractive girl. She's got a career going for herself. She's a licensed vocational nurse, has a beautiful home, about 3,700 square feet.
Linnell had a boyfriend, a native of Haiti named Louis Bonware.
Louis had a very hot temper, a very jealous guy. He would often go to the point of actually stalking his own girlfriend. He would follow her to work and had actually followed her in his car and had actually drove her off the road, causing her vehicle to crash.
Linnell kept her romantic options open. She was also seeing a guy named Ike Omuna. One scorching hot June day in Palmdale, California, 65 miles northeast of Los Angeles where Linnell lived, her pal Lorraine Austin stopped by. She had planned to weave Linnell's hair that day, but she walked into a firestorm. Louis was in a rage.
Louis found out that not only did his girlfriend Linnell have her regular phone, but she had a phone given to her by this other boyfriend.
Lorraine decided to come back later, hoping things would calm down. When she returned, it was calm, dead calm.
She saw her friend laying on the garage floor next to the car. Linnell had a black plastic bag around her head, so Lorraine wasn't able to identify her face. She immediately checked for a pulse on Linnell's foot and didn't find one, then walked over to the head and lifted up the plastic bag to confirm that was her friend, and indeed it was. Has a beautiful home, about 3,700 square feet.
She heard movement on the second floor of the house, and the next thing she knew, she was staring Louis Bonware in the face as he stood at the top of the stairs.
Immediately, Lorraine thought, that is the killer. He's here, he just killed my friend, and now he saw me, he knows who I am, he's gonna kill me.
Lorraine ran for her life, speeding off in her car, headed for the sheriff's station.
When Lorraine Austin came into the Palmdale Sheriff's Station, she was hysterical. She was very agitated, was yelling that her friend had been murdered, wanted assistance. She had blood on her hands, she had blood along her fingernails, she had blood on the pant legs, on her knees, and on her buttocks area and on her chest. Now, she explained that as having wiped herself after she had fallen onto the cement floor in the garage.
It didn't take long for cops to catch up with Bonware.
Louis appeared to be the killer based on several factors. Louis tells us that their relationship is very good. That does not jive with anything that we've heard from any of the people that we've interviewed at that point.
I noticed that he had a scratch on the left side of his cheek. He started crying, but I saw no tears. Our victim's brother indicated that he saw Louis on the computer looking for flights to Miami as well as making banking transactions. And we figured he was trying to fund his escape to Haiti.
And if the motive wasn't clear enough, the writing was on the wall. A Dear John letter from Linnell.
The Dear John letter started off with saying, Dear Louis, I am leaving you for another guy that I've been dating for the last 4 months, named Ike. Don't try to find me.
Louis Bonware was taken into custody. The next order of business, finding the physical evidence that would seal his fate.
We know that the victim was shot in the back of the head, slightly downward angle. And the exit wound was through the nose.
We found a pillow that had been used as a silencer. Evidently, the pillow had been placed to the back of our victim's head when she was shot in the back of the head in order to muff the noise of the gunshot.
Cops find an expended cartridge from a 9mm gun.
This is similar to what I found at the crime scene.
Sheriff Senior Criminalist Mary Keynes makes her own telling observations at the bloody crime scene in the garage.
There was a lot of blood throughout the entire crime scene, but it had been moved around and cleaned up significantly.
Mary uses luminol to essentially light up blood the human eye can't see.
This is an actual photo of the crime scene.
She determines Linnell had been murdered in the home and moved to the garage.
The luminol fluoresced, and you could see an area that looked like somebody had been dragged through that location.
Keynes collects, among other things, a gray plastic pitcher with a distinct fingerprint, which Keynes believes was used to clean up the crime scene, a bloody pair of gloves, and an area rug near Linnell's body that had been removed from the home. She works to process the crime scene evidence, while detectives work on Louis Bonware, who's being held in the county jail.
And he kept telling us, "You've got to help me, you've got to help me." And we're like, "How so?" And he says, "You've got to find the murderer." And in my mind, I thought, I'm looking at the murder. Now, one of the things that Louis Bonware had told us during the interview is that he was not in the Palmdale area at all that day, that he had left at around noonish to get his car fixed in the Los Angeles area. And when we asked him, "Well, where were you? Can you verify where you were?" he told us that he had gone to several auto body stores.
The detectives check out Louis's story, and they're stunned at what they find.
We're searching the truck. We're looking for evidence of what we believe is his involvement in the murder. That's not what we find. Instead, what we found was auto receipts and bank receipts that show that he was in the south central area of Los Angeles when this murder should have been taking place.
Surveillance footage from 2 Los Angeles auto parts stores 65 miles away from Palmdale clearly show Louis Bonware.
So now we know that there's no way that he could have committed the murder. He was totally innocent because he was in, as of 12:40, he left. And we have video evidence.
Cell phone records also put Louis in Los Angeles.
You can't be in south central Los Angeles, get to Palmdale, come back to central Los Angeles, not unless you have your own private jet. And even then, it would be difficult.
The investigation takes a sharp turn. Detectives Kenny and Espino have cleared Linnell's other boyfriend, Ike Omuna. So if they didn't kill her, who did? Next, Linnell's secret life uncovered, and how it leads detectives to her killer.
The container with the bloody fingerprint came back as the fingerprint belonging to